what's up? You're back. You're in the news with Camilla Bay, yeah. And I want you to be in the news with me, your girl, Camilla Bay. You're back in the news with me. I'm here to let you know what's up. If you're new here, I want to welcome you. Go ahead. Chill out. Chill with me for a minute. Go ahead and press that subscribe button and press that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload the news to keep you in the news. Now, it comes to my attention. This was hot. I had to let you know. I got to bring the news to my people. I just want to let you know. I would like to say rest in peace, Little Richard. He was an icon performer and a symbol of flamboyant, fly fashion. Okay, he dies at the age of 87. I would like to say my condolences to the family who's all left. And I will be praying for you guys. You know, this is a great loss. This is a loss for his family as well as for the world and as well as for music, because he was really known in music, and he really left his mark in music. You know, a lot of people learned from him, you know, whether you believe it or not. And he was just free spirited, you know. Yeah, so today is a very difficult for one music industry alone. On the heels of the news of Andre Harrell's passing, I would like to say rest in peace, Andre, and my condolences to your family as well. Little Richard has been pronounced dead as well. According to Rolling Stones, Danny Penniman is Richard's son. So Little Richard did have a son. Confirmed his passing, but is not sure of the cause of death at this particular time. Richard was 87 years of age. And like many who have passed, he carried the aura of a person who would live forever, despite the fact that he lived a long and a very fruitful life. From 1956 to 1958, Little Richard was undoubtedly the baddest man on the planet, okay? The baddest. Peep the string of hits. In 56, he dropped Tutti Frutti, woo, I'm Rudy, woo, Tutti Frutti, woo. I can't do it like him, but Long Towel Sally and Rip It Up. In 57, he released Lucille, and in 58, he hit him up with Good Golly, hey, Miss Miley, oh, good golly, Miss Miley, woo. You know, I can't do it like him, but yeah. How much was Richard respected? Here's what Elton John had to say. As big entertainers, they're paying their tributes to this man. He just told about him in 1973. He said, I heard Little Richard and Jerry Lee Lewis, because he worked with the great, you know who Jerry Lee Lewis was. And it was Elton John told Rolling Stone in 1973, I didn't ever want to be anything else. I'm more of Little Richard's style than a Jerry Lee Lewis style, is what Elton John told them. Jerry Lee is an intricate piano player and very skillful, but Little Richard is more of a pounder. Richard rarely spoke publicly, but in 2017, he sat in front of WISL camera in Southern Illinois for an interview for the first time in almost 20 long years. So he did come back to let the people know what he was doing. And I'm just going to try to see if I can pull up the little clip and see what he had to say.
Rock and roll, a music icon who's entertained generations of people. Little Richard visited Southern Illinois today, and News 3's Colin Dorsey sat down with him for a rare interview.
It's his first television news interview in years. This music legend only sitting down to an interview with Danny Shelton of Three Angels Broadcast Network once before today. A rock and roll icon, he says those days are well behind him.
Well, back at the time, You're thinking about how you could become bigger and bigger and make more money.
He says it all became too much when he saw people idolizing him and flocking to his concerts.
At first I was making $35,000 a night, then it came to $50,000, then it came to $100,000 an hour.
Richard Penniman, also known as rock and roll legend Little Richard, says choosing between his fame and his faith was one of the best decisions he's ever made.
I didn't feel right anymore. I would sing and do things, but, you know, I wasn't a part of the in crowd anymore.
And he said he started getting concerned about his place in the world.
I started just thinking about Jesus. I started thinking about the world's going to end soon. All the trouble of the world.
It's a change 3ABN President Danny Shelton says is amazing.
I had the privilege of meeting numerous people, but the testimonies are almost always the same.
I made up my mind that I'd rather have Jesus than anything the world could afford today.
Shelton says though Little Richard stepped off the rock and roll stage, his impact is still felt around the world.
He influenced millions in his younger days. Now he influences millions for the cause of God.
Once uniting people around his music, he's now uniting people around his story. In Thompsonville, Colin Dorsey, News 3.
Yeah, so, well, he got back to God, you know. He figured that he would rather have Jesus than silver and gold, of the famous words of Kurt Franklin. Yeah, I have to respect that. He did go back to what he knew, which was God. You know, mostly that's probably where he came from. You know, that's where most entertainers get their start at, is in the church, like me. I started in the church, but like me, I'm just gonna stay in the church because I know what's good for me, you know. But so you know, I guess the money didn't mean anything no more, because he basically said that he worried about his soul, he worried about the world coming to an end, which he's right, and I take his advice totally on that. So the makeup, the Pandora, the lavish and the light and the lights outfits, they became a staple of rock stars of the era. Richard's style and presence was just as powerful as the notes he belted out or the piano keys he banged on with passionate faith. Prince is the Little Richard of his generation. That's what they said about Prince. Richard told Joan Rivers in 1989, before looking at the camera and addressing Prince, I was wearing purple before you was wearing it. Yeah, he was wearing purple, you know. He told Joan Rivers, basically, I had that thing before Prince had purple. Purple was his color. So I wanted to say God bless and keep Little Richard. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family. It's a sad day. This man was inducted into the Rock of Hall of Fame. He did a lot. His music will live on. It will never die. He had a great life, you know, and then he gave it back to God. You know what I'm saying? So he got it right before he, you know what I'm saying, went into his eternity with God. And that's what the most important thing was. And, you know, even though he did what he did, but he wanted you to know that he changed his life, and that the money and the fame wasn't worth his soul. You know what I'm saying? That's what I get from him. And I just want to say thank you, Little Richard, for all you done. I learned a lot from you. I will never forget you. And your name will live on. And it will live on for what you did in the past and what you did in the end. You know what I'm saying? So, and with that, I want to say rest in peace, Little Richard. That's all I got on that. The song that you hear playing is yours truly. I am God's greatest creation. And I want you to go ahead and download that song. You can check me out on www.Kermela Bakes. That's KERMALA Bakes BATES.com. You can even go to YouTube and look me up. I got 2 songs. I got a slow one out, this one, and then a more popular one. So go ahead and look me up and let me know what you think. And with that, you read the news with Kermela Bakes. Yeah. You read the news, and I'm gonna keep you in the news. Until the next video, peace.